And tonight there's another aspect to this Craig case. Craig was pummeled last week by his Republican colleagues in the Senate. It was fast and it was furious. We all watched it. But what about Senator David Vitter of Louisiana, who admitted earlier this summer that he likely cheated on his wife by going to an escort service? You know, the Washington Madam story that we've been talking about. Well, what's going on? Is this because one situation was about alleged gay sex, not that one you're looking at right there, that's Vitter, by the way, and the other wasn't? Let's really be out in the open about this. Republican strategist Sherry Jacobus joins us now. Melanie Sloan, Executive Director for Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, is joining us as well. Sherry, I'm going to start with you. Let's be honest about this. Republicans were essentially embarrassed by this whole gay sex allegation thing, weren't they?
Well, I don't think there's any question that Republicans and the people of Idaho were, in fact, embarrassed. But the difference between these two situations, while on its face, when you look at it from the soap opera angle, as so many are, it looks like they're similar, but they aren't. As you had noted in the previous segment, Senator Craig was arrested and pled guilty. But I think the real, even though it was a misdemeanor, which I think is sort of a minor point at this point, he sat on this for several months and did not tell his leadership, knowing that it would be explosive. And the fact of the matter is, if it were just like any other misdemeanor, you know, perhaps there would be something different. But the fact that he sat on this, he didn't tell his leadership.
Hold on. The question isn't what one guy did wrong. We know that it appears, at least according to what the police officer in the bathroom says, what Senator Craig was doing was wrong. The question is what Vitter did equally wrong? He didn't exactly come forward and admit to it either, did he? And he did appear to be cheating on his wife, just like Mr. Clinton did.
If you were going to kick out every politician out of office who cheated on their spouse, we'd all be very busy, I guess, with those news stories. But Vitter was not arrested and did not plead guilty to anything, and that is the difference.
Melanie wants desperately to get in, and she now has her opportunity. I apologize, Melanie. Go ahead.
Look, David Vitter is guilty of the same sort of sexual misconduct. That's a criminal charge that Larry Craig was guilty of. And if you're concerned about Larry Craig not coming forward, well, the only reason that David Vitter came forward was his name was exposed on the D.C. Madam's call list. He didn't tell his colleagues he would be found out. He waited until it was found out, and then he confessed, and he got an ovation from the Republican conference, as opposed to Larry Craig, who got booted out right away.
Which takes me back.
Larry Craig was arrested. That's the difference. Again, the arrest and the guilty plea.
Takes me back to my original question. Can we just be honest about the fact that the gay sex issue is really what we're talking about here, and that's what separates these two cases and creates more of a yuck factor among Republicans?
You know, the fact matter is, I think there'd be just as big of an outcry from all quarters, and maybe especially Democrats, had Larry Craig been accused of doing this, you know, trying to solicit sex or with women at a women's bathroom. So I don't think it's any different. This is not a good situation for anybody, and it is an embarrassment for the people of Idaho and for the Republicans. And I hope that, you know, what I wish is that Senator Craig, quite frankly, did not plead guilty and had decided to fight this, and I think then he would have probably had a little bit more support, and we'd be in an entirely different situation right now.
Go ahead, Melanie.
The real difference here is that there is a Republican governor who can appoint a Republican senator in the state of Idaho, and that's why they're so quick to have Larry Craig out. But there's a Democratic governor in Louisiana who'd appoint a Democratic senator, so they don't want to boot out David Vitter and lose that seat.
Not that the Democrats wouldn't do the same thing, by the way. Let's be honest about it.
Larry Craig lost the trust of his party when he sat on this for several months. That's a big part of this.
You know, David Vitter sat on his conduct until it was released by the news media.
He wasn't arrested. I don't know how many times we have to keep reminding you.
The fact that one of them was arrested and one wasn't, when both of them committed misdemeanor crimes. And if your standard is you can't have senators committing crimes, both senators committed crimes.
That is the last word. Melanie Sloan, Sherry Jacobus, both good sports. Thanks so much for being with us and sharing your insight on this story.